Hello and welcome back to RBY Pokemon Challenges. My name is Teo and we are continuing our Misty Minimum Battles series where we're taking 75 Pokemon that beat Brock on Minimum Battles and now we're seeing if they can get through Misty. Today is episode 10 and that means that with 5 Pokemon per episode, we're 2/3 of the way through this challenge. And so far, it really hasn't been much of a challenge. Misty's really just kind of been a easy little swimmer girl that we've just kind of pushed aside with every single Pokemon. But there could still be surprises in store, and plenty of these Pokemon, even if they're able to beat Misty now, could struggle as we get to the middle game when we start to fight against Sabrina, Rival 5, Koga, Blaine, and of course Giovanni. Before even getting to the champion in the Elite Four. So there's still a lot of content to come, but if you have not already, like, subscribe, follow the channel. It's been really exciting this last month because we've had tons of new viewers and a lot of new subscribers coming to the channel. It's really got me motivated to pump out these videos. So today I got an extra day off for work. What am I gonna do? Pokemon video, come on. If we can build this channel into something that I can do a lot more time on, we may be able to get to the point where we do 2 or 3 videos a week. So every subscriber really helps on that end. And I really want to get to the point where at some point I can get a video editor. Because at this point I just kind of make these videos, and you probably noticed I do them in one shot. I just go straight through, and if something happens, something happens. But of course, making higher quality content with a video editor would be something that I'd love to do at some point in the future, but we just have to get to the point where the channel's big enough to support that. So if you like the content, subscribe, recommend it to your friends, pass it around. It really helps me out. So anyway, with that being said, let's start talking about today's challenge. So just a little bit about the rules. We are playing a Minimum Battles series here. What that means is that we only fight trainers that are required to beat the game. It's not that we have to fight Misty immediately upon getting to Cerulean City. We can still fight the trainers on Nugget Bridge, we can go down to the SSN, as long as we don't fight any optional trainers on those routes. They have to be required trainers. What that means is that we can pick up a lot of TMs in this section. We can get the Mega Punch TM, Water Gun, Thunder Wave, Dig. We can go down and get HM Cut if that will help. And we get 2 rare candies in this section. But there are other things that we can't get. We can't get the Body Slam TM because that requires 1 optional trainer. We can't get the Rest TM because that also requires an optional trainer. And Seismic Toss isn't available yet because it's locked behind a trainer that we would have to lure out. But in order to lure him out to get behind him and get the TM, we'd have to fight another optional trainer. You can see a theme going here. We're also going to miss some useful items like the rare candy on the SSN because it's behind a trainer. So we just have to do the best with what we've got. That being said, the best with what we've got so far has been pretty darn good. We have played already 9 episodes, and every single Pokemon has been able to beat Misty on Minimum Battles, and we've never had to resort to using rare candies to do it. We've beaten her in a lot of ways. Some Pokemon were just powerful enough to just take her down. There were some Pokemon that needed a little bit of luck. She uses an X-Defend at the right time. We get a Bide, a 2-turn Bide, for example, with Ponyta. That allowed us to get through. But no Pokemon has taken a ridiculous number of fights to get through Misty. It's always been really within like 5 battles that we've gotten through. So all of these are actually quite consistent. That being said, there could be some challenges still upcoming, but I don't necessarily expect them today. Today, we're going to take 5 Pokemon against Misty, but I think that they're all going to crush her easily. So I think this is really more about can they all beat Misty as soon as they get to Cerulean City. Because today we've got Raichu and Weepinbell, who both are going to have super effective moves and type advantages. We've got Wartortle that, if Squirtle could get through, come on, Wartortle's going to be able to do this. Exeggutor, it's not going to have a great moveset, but Misty's AI is going to cause her to just use Tackle and Harden against it, because she will think that water-type moves are not very effective. And finally, we've got Clefable. Clefable has Metronome. And Metronome might be kind of hilarious in this episode, because we might just see if we can get a Thunderbolt off on Misty or something like that in order to take her down. So let's see how they go. Let's jump right in with our very first Pokemon in Wartortle. So here we are. We are already loaded up. We've got our Wartortle. We've beaten Brock. And we are going to continue on to Misty. So first thing that we got to do, of course, is just heal up. In this section now, we've seen that sometimes these water types can struggle if they only have Bubble, because Bubble is not a very strong move, even though it's Stab. And Wartortle will learn Water Gun naturally, but we're very likely going to get the TM for Water Gun before we get to that point. And we can see that we actually fainted off of poison there. But it was okay. We didn't have to fight any extra battles. So we're just going to continue and try to take down these Pokemon. And that reminds me, it was brought up by a commenter before, but these Pokemon from the very first episode of the challenge, we did not actually give them perfect DVs. So that's likely affecting Wartortle here a little bit. So let's just get the perfect DVs Game Shark in very quickly. I said to the same commenter, because of course, like perfect DVs, we would expect a lot of Pokemon to do really well. But I plan to go through this challenge after it's all completed by taking the Pokemon that win against the champion at the very end of the game and trying them again with 0 DVs. And the reason for that is because we can then see how much DVs will affect those Pokemon. We already know that they can beat the game if they're the ideal version of themselves, but can they beat the game without perfect stats? That, I think, will be a very interesting series, and that's coming up after we finish this one. So if you're interested in that, hold tight a little bit, but go ahead and like and subscribe. I may consider, actually, if I can get to the point where I'm doing 2 videos a week, I may consider starting to bring some of that in as we get towards the middle game, because there's going to come a point where it will really make sense to just kind of rush through some of these runs and get them to the end. I mean, yeah, there's going to be a point, probably 2 or 3 sections from now, where we'll start actually getting Pokemon to the champion and seeing if they can win on minimum battles. But with that being said, we can then take those Pokemon in a second video of the week and start seeing if they can do it on 0 DVs. But with that being said, we'll continue this challenge for now. Let's go ahead and get on through Mount Moon, which is always just really a slog of trying to get through all the Zubats. But here we are. We've gotten to the Super Nerd. We have Water Gun, and that should make this plenty easy to get through. And it is. So now let's just pop down a quick save before we fight Team Rocket. And here, Ekans goes down easily. Same for Meowth. And Coughing. Perfect. So we are through Mount Moon. And now the question is, can we just go fight Misty? Now, we did pick up the TM for Mega Punch. And I am going to learn that, and I'm going to forget Tackle in order to learn it. So we have Mega Punch, and we're at a lower level. But Misty won't use her best attacks against us. Let's see if we can get through. Start with the junior trainer here. So just pop a couple Mega Punches there. Perfect. We took her down. And now, against Misty, it's really just a matter of can we survive long enough and get off the Mega Punches. So let's see. So we're just lowering defense of her Pokemon a little bit, and there we go. Wartortle, with zero trouble, gets through Misty because it's able to just spam Mega Punch, and she won't do enough damage back to us. So that is one Pokemon down. Let's move on to the next of our Pokemon, which next we're going to take Weepinbell up against Misty, and let's see how this one goes. So let's go ahead and find our Weepinbell save. There we go. And now Weepinbell does not have to get its DVs increased. It's already at max stats, so we can just run on through. In this section, I think that Weepinbell will do just fine, given that it's only neutrally damaged by poison, given that it's a grass poison type. Plus, we will have access to our Vine Whip to do some extra damage. Like, we could even start spamming growth in some of these fights to get through, so. But Wrap is a perfectly valid strategy as well. Okay, so we're making our way on through this section without too much difficulty. And let's just use Wrap against Metapod. Perfect. That does it for the trainers on this route, and we just have to fight the two trainers now inside of Mount Moon. Weepinbell doesn't learn any of these TMs in here, so we're really just going to pick up the rare candy and then try to get on out. There we go. Okay. And there we are. It will be so nice when we have access to repels and we don't have to run away from every single Zubat. Like, seriously, how many Zubats are in Mount Moon? Okay. We've made it to the Super Nerd. And we're just going to go ahead and take him out. And, hey, look, we learned Poison Powder even. Okay, and just Wrap to take the coughing down. Perfect. Now here against Team Rocket, I'm actually going to try a growth strategy, just for the sake of doing it. Okay, we've maxed out our special stat, and we still can't actually one-hit the coughing. That's too bad. It will be much better later when we can get the badge boost glitch on our special stat, but that won't come until, I believe, after we beat Blaine that we get the badge boost for special. So instead, we'll just use growth to increase our own stats. So let's just go ahead and fight this junior trainer. There we go. And I think we will learn Sleep Powder. Poison Powder's not really that great. If we want poison later, we can always get Toxic. So, there we go. And Misty time. So, 3, 4, 5, 6. I really want to see if we can one-hit Starmie here. And we do. Just setting up growth is more than enough, and we even one-hit the Starmie. So, that's 2 Pokemon through. I think they were very much expected to get through. I mean, if their unevolved forms can get through, then obviously we expect them to do the same. But it's always good to see that things are working out the way we'd expect. Let's get one more here. Raichu. Now, Raichu was able to get through Brock because, per the previous episodes, I mentioned that in this generation, getting a surfing Pikachu is legitimate. And if getting a surfing Pikachu is legitimate, then getting a surfing Raichu is also legitimate. And the way that you get a surfing Pikachu in this generation is basically you needed to play Pokemon Stadium. And you could play Pokemon Stadium, and if you could beat the challenges, getting the different, Poke Cups and Pika Cups and the Elite Four challenge with a Pikachu, you would be rewarded at the end of all of it with a surfing Pikachu. So you actually would encounter a surfing Raichu when you fought Lieutenant Surge in Gym Leader Castle in that original Pokemon Stadium game. So if Pokemon Stadium will go so far in Generation 1 to include a surfing Raichu, then a surfing Raichu is definitely legitimate enough to include in this kind of challenge. And I think we're going to see that just the addition of that one move, that surf move, is enough to really change the prospects of Raichu as it goes through the game. Because Raichu's big issue, if you look at its TM set and its learn set, is just that it doesn't learn any really diverse moves. Like, it doesn't get anything that's really useful against rock and ground type Pokemon in particular. And that's because, yeah, sure, you can see Submission there or Seismic Toss, but Submission, anybody can tell you, is just a terrible move. It has terrible accuracy, and it damages your own Pokemon. So it's not really an effective way to get through when the opponent has a lot of rock-type Pokemon. But then it also doesn't get, like with Seismic Toss, it's not getting to do stab damage with that move. So it really becomes a situation where Surf at this point in the game is basically the best move that Raichu could have, bar none. And yeah, we're going to see that for most of the game, it's actually going to carry it through. So here we go. Let's fight the junior trainer in Misty's gym. We have Thundershock, and I think that is going to be enough. I don't think we even need to worry about learning Mega Punch just yet. Now, we did get taken out there by the Starmie, so the strategy here might be to paralyze the Starmie first with Thunder Wave. A couple X defends, and there we go. We got through. It took 2 attempts just because since Raichu doesn't resist, yeah, she'll use Bubble Beam against us, but still, easy game. That's 3 for 3 now on today's challenge. Let's get to the first Pokemon that's actually going to be interesting, and that is Clefable. Now, the reason Clefable is interesting is because Clefable just has this stupidly wide moveset. But I really want to carry on Clefable as long as possible the move Metronome, because I just think that that's one of the most hilarious ways to win. Just hands down. If we can get the right kind of luck with Metronome, we can basically take any Pokemon out. Double Slap sucks. We will replace that in very short order. But the other thing that we have here is Minimize. And Minimize will be interesting because it will essentially allow us to get more turns without taking damage from our opponents. So even when we get into tough situations, we may just be able to use Minimize to get through. I understand a lot of people don't like double team Minimize as strategies, but look, they're legitimate strategies, and the whole point of this is just to see if it's possible to get through. So cheesy strategies are perfectly fine if they result in getting through, we may take those cheesy strategies and run them 2 or 3 times just to check that it wasn't a complete fluke, but otherwise I think it's perfectly legitimate as we use Metronome to get through Metapod and we take it down with Constrict. That's hilarious. Constrict has got to be the worst move in Generation 1, period. But there we go. We are now in Mount Moon, Clefable's home turf, basically, because this is where you can get Clefairy. And yeah, let's go ahead and get through, and we definitely want to pick up Mega Punch here. Mega Punch is just going to be so much better than using Double Slap. So let's learn it. And we're going to keep Metronome for now. We'll worry about making a much better moveset much later in the game, but there's no reason to get rid of it yet. Especially because we're not going to have a lot of super effective moves against the next couple of gym leaders, so the chance to get a super effective move off is just pretty hilarious to me. So, okay, Mega Punch. Mega Punch. Oh, it wasn't 3 hits of Mega Punch. That's too bad. But there we go. Take the Helix Fossil and fight Team Rocket. So, there we go. And there we go. Clefable is through Mount Moon. And not even a challenge, really. Now, we always pick up the Great Ball so that we can get our flying Pokemon later. But now, let's just go try to fight Misty. So here we go. I think in this battle, we'll just use Mega Punch. And now, let's go up against Misty. And let's start by trying to sing. Perfect. We're just going to put her to sleep. And then raise our evasion as many times as possible. And we used Thrash. And we take her out. Look at that. We got the badge boost because Brock gives the attack badge boost. So we were actually using the badge boost glitch there with Minimize, but we used Metronome and used Thrash, and that was enough to take out Misty's Pokemon, that together with Sleep. So, another insanely easy run. Let's finish out today with our last Pokemon. It's our ace for today. It's the competitive Pokemon that everybody loves, though I think most people like it because it can self-destruct. That is Exeggutor. And honestly, like, Exeggutor for me when I was younger was not a Pokemon that I really liked to use. Like, I didn't think that it was very useful. I honestly just thought it looked ridiculous. Like, the sprite for Exeggutor in especially the first red and blue version of Pokemon was just absolutely ridiculous. But as I got older and learned more about competitive Pokemon, it became very clear why Exeggutor is so strong. It can resist ground-type moves, it can learn Psychic-type moves, and in competitive Pokemon, if all else goes poorly, it can just explode on its opponents. And that is a pretty awesome ability. Adding that together with Sleep Powder, if you evolve it from an Execute, makes it a really, really, really great Pokemon to use because Sleep Powder is a much better sleep move than Hypnosis. But in this challenge, of course, we didn't evolve from an Execute, so we have to just use its level up moves, and the only level up move that it's going to learn is Stomp, which will be, again, pretty hilarious, I think. I just like the idea of this big, like, kind of ridiculous looking coconut egg thing stomping on other Pokemon. That to me is pretty darn funny. So let's just see here really quickly. I don't think, yeah, we don't learn Mega Punch. That would be ridiculous if we did. I wouldn't put it past the creators of the game, given that they gave Peck to Goldeen, for example. But yeah, we can just go ahead and get through Mount Moon quickly. We don't really learn anything useful in this area, but we can get on through. And Misty's probably not going to be too difficult, I think. We have good stats, plus Misty's not going to use her best moves. So here, we're going to use Sleep because, like against Voltorb, I'm not too worried, but against the Coughing, I really do want to put it to sleep because it does use poison type attacks and we are weak to poison. Okay, there we go, we got through. Now the one other issue that we have is that Barrage does not have a lot of PP. So and Ekans will not stay asleep. Oh, and that puts us on a timer. We could lose here against Team Rocket, guys. Especially if we can't get Barrage to connect. And there, we lost to Team Rocket. We'll have to take another shot at them. It will really help if we can get these Pokemon to actually stay asleep. And Meowth using Growl on us is actually really bad. Now the only move that we have left, there's no way that we're going to take out all of their Pokemon with only that. So here, let's learn Bide. Bide might make this a much more effective run. Okay. Yeah, Mouth was just doing too much to us. So let's go ahead and just try to take Ekans out. We got really close there, guys. Oh, that's ridiculous. Okay. So here, we're just going to lead with Hypnosis and Barrage to get through Ekans, I think. I really don't want to take Growl from Meowth. I think just being poisoned there is enough. Ooh, and I didn't learn Bide that time. Okay, here we need to teach Bide, and I think it's good to pop down a quick save there. This is, in a lot of ways, rather embarrassing that our Exeggutor is having this much trouble against Team Rocket. But now I think we will be able to get through. Yep. We basically just needed to get the right kind of luck. But Bide can come in really handy in some of these fights because it will allow us to do more damage than we're able to do with a move like Barrage. And that's where I think Exeggutor is going to actually struggle in the fairly near future, because it's not going to learn any grass-type moves before we get to Rock Tunnel. And how's it going to deal with the self-destruct Hiker? We're going to have to see how that works out. Now, this is already absolutely terrible. So let's try this again. I was hoping to get some Pex and then in that way get off damage by using Bide, but nope, didn't work. There we go. So we just needed to get a Peck where yeah. And then here I think we just use Barrage, and then here I think we use Bide, and we hope to get through Starmie. There we go. So we were able to get through Misty, but that was actually the hardest run of the 5. I mean, when you think about it, like Team Rocket gave us trouble because we didn't have a great moveset to deal with them. And Misty and the Junior Trainer also gave us a little bit of trouble because we didn't have such great moves to use. This is a Pokemon in Exeggutor that everybody loves competitively, but it may not actually end up being that great in the grand scheme of this challenge. We're just going to have to see. Because, of course, if we can get through... Basically, if we get to Celadon and we beat Erica, we'll get Mega Drain. And we'll also be able to get access to Psychic in Saffron City. And that may be what carries Exeggutor through. But it's getting there that's going to be the trouble. We're going to have a lot of resets on this Pokemon, I think. So we're definitely not going to consider it a top-tier Pokemon for the purposes of a single Pokemon playthrough. And it may fail against Brock if it has 0 DVs. So we're just going to have to see if that is the case. But that does it for today's content. 5 Pokemon. They all beat Misty. Nobody had to use rare candies yet again. So with that, I'll leave you with a little bit of music. Thank you, and see you next time.